New York City has just erected a golden demon statue on top of a courthouse near Madison Square Park. And when I say a golden demon statue, I'm not being hyperbolic or funny. It is a gold statue of a demon woman with horns on her head and weird tentacle things for arms, dedicated to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and specifically to Ginsburg's support for abortion. The artist who made it told the New York Times that the statue is part of a, quote, urgent and necessary cultural reckoning underway as New York reconsiders traditional representations of power in public spaces and recasts civic structures to better reflect 21st century mores. You see, in old New York, we placed on top of our courthouses stone and marble statues of famous lawgivers, allegories such as Lady Justice, because our old social mores reflected reverence for things like law and justice. Today, we erect golden demon idols to the human sacrifice of little babies, because our social mores reflect reverence for things such as hedonism and selfishness.
All right. Shalom, family. It's your brother Kanaiba coming at you once again with this video titled Abortion Goddess Erected on Top of the Courthouse in Manhattan, New York. Still think I'm reaching? Okay. And I know a lot of you are wondering why I have the word now in quotation marks in the thumbnail. But we'll get to that in just a minute. But that is a focal point. Okay, that word now. Right? But just like we just seen in that short clip, it's true that there is this abortion goddess that they have on top of the courthouse in New York. Okay, and that's a picture of it right there. Okay, and we're actually gonna deal with this, okay, because there's some details here that we're gonna focus in on, okay. But I asked a question in the thumbnail. Do y'all still think I'm reaching? Allow me to refresh your memory. Okay, in my very last video, mind you, I told you that on January the 22nd, which was the first day of the Lunar New Year. Now, of course, you had that mass shooting, but what else happened that day? It was the 50th anniversary of Roe versus Wade. Correct? And I told you that mass shooting, I believe, and it's just my critique, was a sacrifice for the divine feminine or the mother goddess, right? So now look at this. Now it just so happens that New York now in Manhattan has this abortion goddess statue on top of their courthouse to basically venerate the case of Roe versus Wade. Now, is all of this a coincidence? I think not. Okay, but y'all gonna learn that you got to look at these things from a spiritual vantage point. Okay, and this should let you know. I mean, this place is just this is really the chief house of idol worship. Okay, America. But we gonna get into that later on in the video. Okay. But yeah, just look at the statue. The thing, of course, is gold. And the way the hairdo is shaped like horns. Okay? I mean, it's pretty much, it's blatant that this is definitely an idol. Okay? The arms, I believe those are supposed to be like roots of a tree. Okay? And the statue, they have this so-called deity standing on top of the lotus flower, and we're going to deal with that in a little bit as well. Okay, but right now what I want to do, I want to get into this article from the New York Times, okay, concerning this particular statue. All right, so let's get to it. So this is the article from the New York Times, and of course it reads, it says, move over Moses and Zoroaster. Manhattan has a new female lawgiver. Okay. So So just to give you a bit of background here, when you look at that court building in New York, they have 9 other statues, okay, of and they're male figures of men that were looked upon as lawgivers throughout history, okay, and they have a depiction of Moses being one of them, and we know for a fact Moses was the lawgiver, okay. But I guarantee you, if you look at that statue of Moses, it's probably a bastardized version of Moses, okay. They probably have him looking Caucasian, okay. He was not Caucasian. Moses was a so-called black man, okay. You know, today, if you've seen him in real time, he'd be labeled as a so-called Haitian, okay, because he's from the tribe of Levi, right? But the article continues on, and it says the artist, I'm not even going to attempt her name, calls the 8-foot sculpture she has placed atop a New York courthouse an urgent form of resistance, or in other words, rebellion. Okay, it's to promote rebelliousness amongst women. That's all this is, okay? It's in veneration of the divine feminine. Okay, but we're going to scroll down a bit in this article. We're not going to read the whole thing. We're going to get this particular paragraph in the article where she's actually talking about this statue, okay? And of course it reads, it says, she is a fierce woman and a form of resistance in a space that has historically been dominated by a patriarchal representation. Again, what did I tell you? It's talking about being rebellious. Okay, rebellion against the natural order of things, which is a patriarchal society. Okay, but anyway, continuing forward, it reads, said Sikander, I guess I'm not even going to attempt again. It says, who previously served on the New York Mayoral Advisory Commission of City Arts, Monuments, and Makers. It says, she said the work was called Now because it was needed now at a time when women's reproductive rights were under siege after the U.S. Supreme Court in June overturned the constitutional right to abortion. Let's go back up a bit here. Okay. It says, she said the work was called Now. Let's pause. Okay. So the name that she gave that statue, that idol, is called Now. N-O-W. This is just a play on words. Okay. If you scramble up the letters Now, it's N-W-O, aka New World Order. That's all this statue represents. Okay. It represents that as well. Okay. Again, the death of the divine masculine and the veneration and the furtherance of the divine feminine. Okay, again, what have I been telling you all? Okay, I told you this is the year of the water rabbit. And I said everybody's probably going to go down the rabbit hole this year. They're pushing the divine feminine even more. You're going to see it even more. You brothers, if you thought you could stomach it now, boy, it's about to get a lot worse. Okay? But it makes sense since this place is the great whore that's talked about in the book of Revelation. And we're going to get that a little bit later. Okay? But again, this statue is referred to as Now. N-O-W, which again is just a play on words. N-W-O, New World Order. Okay? So with that said, let's move forward and let's get a little bit of information about the lotus flower. Because again, the way the statue is made is standing on top of a lotus flower. And that's for a reason. Okay, we got to find out what the lotus flower actually represents. Okay, so here's a bit of information about the lotus flower, and it reads, it says, in many parts of the world, the lotus is considered sacred. In Eastern cultures and spiritualities, especially, the lotus is sometimes called the flower of life due to its association with the cycle of life, death, and rebirth or reincarnation. Okay, so now we got to really look at this thing, because what did I say? That the statue is named now, and that's just a play on words. It's really talking about the new world order, or what? Rebirth. That's all it's going into. That's why originally it was 9 statues up there. Originally, the number 9 represents the same thing. It represents rebirth, okay? Because the number 9 is really a feminine number. And she, I believe, would be the 10th statue. Okay, it's a new cycle. Okay, she's the beginning of the new cycle, so to speak. Okay, pushing the furtherance of the divine feminine. Okay, and that's why the article from the New York Times had to say, move aside Moses and Zoroaster, but put more emphasis on Moses. It's not just an attack on masculinity, it's an attack on the Holy Scriptures as well. It's an attack on righteousness, because Moses gave the law. He gave law and order. Okay, again, these newspapers, they're within the craft as well. You got to understand that. Okay, but you know, this is as irritating as this is. We just got to endure it for just a short amount of time. This thing is almost over. And you better believe in the kingdom. In our kingdom, there is no divine feminine, okay? Everything is going back to its natural order. And it's going to be a patriarchal world, not just a patriarchal society. It's going to be a patriarchal world. And women are going to be put back in their natural place under the man. Okay? Not in front of him, not beside him. Okay? Under the man. Okay? There will be no female lawgivers in the kingdom. There will be no females in any position of power in the kingdom. You'll have power over your slaves and handmaids and the children. And that's it. Okay, but everything is going back in order. The man will be in his natural ruling state. It will be a patriarchal world. Okay, so now let's get to the scriptures and then bring this to a close. So I'm going to start off with Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. And it reads, it says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's pretty clean cut, correct? But what we have to understand, everything that the Most High stands for, America is the complete opposite. America is a complete opposition with the Most High. Okay, that statue on top of that courthouse, that's another god. Okay, I mean, and it's clear. Okay, that's why the thing has horns. Okay, the hair is shaped like horns, and it's on top of the lotus flower. When you look at a lot of different deities throughout history and different societies, they were associated with the lotus flower. For example, you go back to ancient Egypt. I believe it was Nefertun. Okay, the so-called god Nefertun. He was associated with the lotus flower. Okay, he was supposedly, according to Egyptian mythology, the son of Ptah or Ptah-men. Okay, and and his mother was Bassett, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Then if you go into Hinduism, okay, they have a so-called goddess that's associated with the lotus flower. Now, her name escapes my mind, but they do have a female deity that's associated with the lotus flower. Okay. So, I mean, it's no coincidence that, you know, that woman, that she's a Pakistani woman that created that statue. She made the statue stand erect on top of that lotus flower. Okay, that was for a reason. Okay, but my point being, that's another god. Okay, and this is strictly forbidden. Okay, this is something that we as Israelites are not supposed to do. But we know America, like I just said, is in complete opposition with the Most High. Okay, let's move forward to the next verse. So this is verse 4, and it reads, it says, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. And tell me that's not a graven image. Okay, again, there's a reason why she made it gold. Okay, it's a graven image. It's an idol. Okay, it says, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Okay. So, but again, like I said before, America is in complete opposition to the Most High. Okay, and we know this place is ran by Esau. Okay, but yeah, this is clearly an idol. Okay, and going back to that lotus flower, you know, I made a statement about Nefertun. Okay, not to get too far off topic, but when you look at the movie E.T., okay, the main character, Elliot, he was playing the role of Nefertun. Okay, because when you look at the scene where they were actually at the dinner table and him and his brother was arguing, if you look at the light fixture above the dinner table, it was full of, I believe it was full of lotus flowers. Okay, that's because the main character, Elliot, he was playing the role of Nefertun. And E.T. was playing the role of Ptah. And we know Ptah is the father of Nefertun. That's why in the movie, you know, Elliot, they father pretty much left and abandoned them. So that's why, you know, E.T., one of the figures he was playing to Elliot was a father figure. Okay. Now, when you look at the West African culture, the West African equivalent to Ptah, of course, is Ogun. Okay, and when you look at an ancient depiction of Ogun, it looks just like E.T. Okay, I mean, you can't make this up, you know, but not to get too far off topic, but just showing that that lotus flower is associated with paganism. Okay, so now let's move forward to the book of Revelation. This is Revelation chapter 17 and verse 1, and it reads, it says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now, of course, the great whore is America. Okay, and America sitting upon many waters, the waters represents all the peoples of the nations. Okay, so this whore, America, sits upon these waters, just letting you know that America is the world superpower. America is in rulership right now. They're on top of the other nations. Okay, so now let's move forward and let's jump down a bit to verse 5, and it reads, it says, and upon her forehead, now the her is the great whore, which is America, right? It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay, now, why is America called the mother of harlots? This is just simply going into spiritual fornication, okay? Idol worship. That's why I said this place, America, is the chief house of idol worship. Okay, I made that statement earlier. Now we're seeing here that America is called the mother of harlots. Okay, and that statue on top of that courthouse in New York, it just further solidifies that. Okay, that is indeed an idol. That's why it's gold, it has horns, and it's on top of the lotus flower. It's in veneration of the divine feminine. Okay, that's why it's for the abortion. Okay, the commemoration of Roe versus Wade. Okay, like the lady who created the statue said in the article, is pretty much it's for rebellion. That's what it represents, rebellion against the patriarchal order. That's what that statue represents. Okay, and also when you look at America wants the women, the female citizens of America, they want the female citizens to be a microcosm of the mother of harlots, of this great whore. Okay, that's what they want for the women who are citizens here. Okay, that's why, physical whoredom is pushed so much in this society. Okay, and quiet as a kept, a lot of women are into spiritual fornication as well. They dabble in all these different pagan Luciferian ideologies. Okay, that's why that famous cover to I believe it was her own magazine, Oprah, she was pretty much dressed up as the whore of Babylon. Okay, actually let's get that real quick. Okay, so we're gonna jump back up to verse 4 and we're gonna do a side by side here. Okay, now let's actually read the verse. Okay, it reads, it says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, and decked with gold and precious stones, and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Now, let's look to the right. Now, this is Oprah. This is her magazine cover. Okay, look at the color scheme and look at the verse. This particular woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet. Scarlet is red. Okay, that's why she's dressed up like that. It says she's having precious stones. That's why they're showing those 2 big rings and her earring, and both of them are purple. Okay, this is blatant. Again, she's playing a microcosm of the great whore. Okay, and if that's not enough, look at the quote right up under her, okay, near her chest area. It says, every woman needs a little mystery and a lot of color. What does that mean? Every woman needs a little mystery? Because again, she wants all women, just like herself, to play a microcosm of Mystery Babylon the Great, as it says in Revelation chapter 17. Okay, and then it says, and a lot of color. She's putting emphasis on the color scheme because she knows that she's playing a microcosm of the great whore. She's playing out Revelation chapter 17 and verse 4 here. Okay, that's why I made the statement earlier. They want all women to be a microcosm of the great whore, Mystery Babylon. Okay, that's why it's no denying that America is this place. America is the main place where feminism is pushed. Okay, where woman worship and the divine feminine is mainly pushed in this place. That's why it makes sense for America to be this great whore that's talked about in Revelation the 17th chapter. Okay, Rome is not the whore. Rome is not Babylon the Great. Okay, contrary to some beliefs. Okay, Rome is the beast that the whore sits on top of. Okay, the whore America, it represents the healing of the wound that Rome has. Okay, but Rome is not Babylon the Great. Okay, but I said all that to say this again. That statue that's on top of that courthouse in New York represents the same thing you're seeing here with Oprah Winfrey. Okay, again, it's just pushing or furthering the veneration of the divine feminine, mother goddess worship, woman worship. Okay, they want all the women here, and just period, to be proverbial Eves. Okay, they want them to play the role of Eve. Okay, that's why it's important for you sisters to be on top of your P's and Q's. Okay, and if the Lord has blessed you with the righteous man that's in the knowledge, appreciate that man, that covering that you have. Okay, because again, Satan, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He always tends to use the woman as a pawn. Okay, and this goes back to the beginning of time, dealing with Adam and Eve. Okay, but anyway, I believe this is actually a good place to end the video. And again, the title of the video is Abortion Goddess Erected on Top of the Courthouse in Manhattan, New York. Still think I'm reaching? Now? And again, the name of the of this statue, this so-called idol, the name of it is Now. And like I said in the video, I believe, and it's just my critique, that that's a play on words, or a play on an acronym. It's really supposed to represent NWO, or the New World Order. Okay, that's why she's on top of the this courthouse amongst all the other statues of male figures that were lawgivers. Okay, and notice she's the only one that's gold. The rest of them are made out of stone. Okay, this represents a new world order. She's going to be the gold standard. Okay, the female lawgiver, the female being placed in the forefront. Okay, representing, female rulership. Okay, which is completely and utterly off. It's wicked as hell. Okay, but this is definitely an idol, and again, it just, gives even more context to the last video that I just did. Remember, this past Sunday on the first day of the Lunar New Year was what? It was the 50th anniversary of Roe versus Wade, and that's what this statue is in commemoration of. Okay, the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Okay, this is an abortion goddess. Okay, because they know whenever you abort your child, again, it's idol worship. You're sacrificing that child. Okay, so moving forward, this should be very, very interesting. Okay, because based on this past weekend and now seeing this, they have big plans for the future. Okay, everybody may truly be going down that rabbit hole very, very soon. Okay, so with that, and as always, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High Yahweh, which is the name of the Heavenly Father, and I do so by Hashem, which means in the name of Yahweh Shai, which is the name of the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father, whom the world knows as Jesus Christ. And I want to thank you brothers and you sisters for tuning in. I hope this video was informative and edifying. And until next time, Shalom, family.